You probably get one real week next year where everyone is off at the same time. You do not want to spend it stuck on the highway, eating sad food by the hotel pool and wondering where all the money went. Today we're walking you through 12 of the best family vacation spots in the U.S. with clear bases, simple days, and rough ticket costs, so you actually know what you're signing up for. As you watch, notice which places you keep picturing in your head, because those are the ones worth circling on the calendar. Number 1. Orlando and the Florida Space Coast in Florida for coasters, rockets, and Atlantic sand. Orlando breaks people when they try to stack 5 park days in a row. This plan assumes you want one big park day, one space day, and the rest of the time as easy ocean. You start by staying close enough to Walt Disney World or Universal that you can walk or shuttle to the gate. A one-day base ticket for a major Orlando park usually starts just over $100 for adults, and a bit under that for kids, then climbs on peak days. You pick one park, make a short list of must-do rides, hit those in the morning, and treat the afternoon as hotel pool and naps instead of forcing another 10 hours of lines. On your rocket day, you drive to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, where standard tickets for adults usually land in the mid-70s in dollars and kids a little lower. That gets you into Shuttle Atlantis, the giant Saturn V hall, and the bus tour out past launch areas, which is a full day right there. After that, you stop trying to be a tour operator and move your base to Cocoa Beach. The rental car sits outside while mornings default to sand, water, and pier walks that are free once you are there. You end up with one big ticket park day, one big ticket space day, and several zero-ticket beach days, which is the balance that keeps both the budget and everyone's energy from falling apart. Number 2. Anaheim, San Diego, and the California coast for castles, pandas, and sunset beaches. Some trips are pure theme parks. This one pulls you from castles into coastline and back again, so you remember you are in California, not just in lines. You start in Anaheim, staying close enough to walk or use a short shuttle to Disneyland Park or Disney California Adventure. A one-day ticket there also lives in the $100 plus range for adults, with kids somewhat less, so you treat that as a single headline day. Rope drop, hit the 5 or 6 rides that matter to you, bail to the hotel pool in the heat, and come back after dinner only if everyone is still awake. The next day is not another park, it is your coast day. You follow the shoreline toward San Diego, maybe stopping in San Clemente or Oceanside for a pier walk and tacos, then roll into San Diego in time for a first look at the harbor. Down here, the big paid moment is usually the San Diego Zoo, where general admission for adults often sits around $76 and kids around $66. Between that, a free day on Coronado or La Jolla Beach, and an evening walking the waterfront. You get a loop that feels like castle, coastline, pandas, beach instead of ticket, 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 ticket. If someone in your house is chanting Disney and someone else just wants waves and animals, this is the one that keeps the peace. Number 3. Washington, D.C. and Shenandoah National Park in Virginia for free museums and quiet ridgelines. If you want maximum value per dollar, this is hard to beat. Most Smithsonian museums are free, including the National Air and Space Museum and the National Museum of Natural History, so whole days in D.C. can go by without anyone scanning a ticket. You book a hotel near a metro stop and skip the car at first. A typical day might be morning in Air and Space, lunch near the mall, then an evening walk taking in the Washington Monument and the World War II Memorial. Another day might be natural history, plus a visit to the Lincoln Memorial and the reflecting pool. You pay for food and transit, not admission. Once everyone is full of stories and monuments, you switch gears. You pick up a rental car and head for Shenandoah National Park. A private vehicle pass for Shenandoah usually sits around $30 and covers 7 days. That one fee unlocks Skyline Drive, big meadows, and short hikes like Dark Hollow Falls. You choose one stretch of scenic drive and one short hike per day. Bring a simple picnic, and let the park handle the entertainment. The first half of the week runs mainly on metro fares. The second half runs on that single park pass and gas. If you like the idea of free museums, then paid-in views instead of tickets, this one makes a lot of sense. Number 4. New York City and the Hudson Valley in New York for bright nights and slow river towns. New York gets its expensive reputation because people try to do everything at once. This version gives you a tight city chapter and then moves you to a place where the main cost is coffee. In the city, you stay near a subway line and buy unlimited transit passes instead of touching a rental car. One day might be Central Park plus the American Museum of Natural History. The museum lets you control what you pay if you buy on site, so you can keep that day reasonable. Another day is built around a free Staten Island ferry ride for Statue of Liberty views, a wander through Battery Park, and an evening in a neighborhood where the main spend is dinner. If you want a single paid skyline moment, you choose one observatory deck. Tickets for places like One World Observatory or the Empire State Building usually fall somewhere in the $40 to $50 range for adults, less for kids. You pick one, get your views, and call it done. Then you change the channel completely. You take a commuter train up the Hudson to a town like Beacon, Cold Spring, or Hudson. Round-trip fares from the city often cost less than a pair of airport taxis, and those last days become about river paths, small bookstores, and short ridge hikes instead of subway maps. For a family that wants Times Square in small doses and then trees, this split works well. Number 5. San Francisco, Yosemite, and Monterey in California for bridges, granite walls, and tide pools. You start with a tight city stay, trade it for giant cliffs, then finish back at the ocean. In San Francisco, you base near a cable car or main transit line and hold off on the rental car. One day is about the bay, with time along the piers and a boat out to Alcatraz Island, where adult tickets for the main day tour usually sit just under $50. Another day leans on cable cars, a few hours in Golden Gate Park, and a simple walk or bike ride for bridge views. When you are ready for granite instead of streetcars, you pick up a car and drive to Yosemite National Park. A private vehicle pass there is typically $35 and covers several days, so you can give one full day to the valley floor and its waterfalls and another to viewpoints like Tunnel View or Glacier Point when the road is open. You pack lunches, buy breakfast and dinner near your lodge or cabin, and let the park handle the schedule. For the last chapter, you head to Monterey. If the budget allows, you buy tickets for the Monterey Bay Aquarium, where adult admission often lands in the $60 range. Then you spend hours at touch pools and glass-walled tanks. Even without that ticket, tide pools at low tide, oceanfront paths, and a short drive on 17-mile drive, where one per vehicle toll unlocks a string of overlooks, keep the days full. The big costs are Alcatraz, the Yosemite Pass, and maybe the aquarium, while most of the week runs on views. Number 6. Great Smoky Mountains in Dollywood in Tennessee for cabin porches, music, and misty roads. Here, the place you sleep is half the point. You rent a cabin near Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, and let that be your base for the entire week. Great Smoky Mountains National Park does not charge an entrance fee, but it does use a parking tag system where a daily tag is around $5 and longer tags still stay low. Most mornings start with a drive into the park along Newfound Gap Road, Cades Cove, or Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail. Each has overlooks and short paths so you can match the day to how people feel. Afternoons often drift back toward the cabin porch, a hot tub, or an easy wander through town for fudge and simple dinners. The one big paid day is usually Dollywood. Single-day adult tickets are often listed around $90, with kids slightly cheaper. You pick one day, arrive early, lean on the app for wait times, and then go back to the cabin instead of trying to squeeze every last ride out of the night. Because the rest of the week runs on low or no entry fees, that one big park ticket feels like a treat rather than the start of a slide into constant spending. Number 7. Yellowstone and Grand Teton in Wyoming for geysers, wildlife, and ice-cold lakes. If you have ever wanted to see bison, hot springs, and jagged peaks in a single week, this is the classic Western loop. Yellowstone covers almost 2.2 million acres, and a private vehicle pass there is usually about $35 for 7 days. Grand Teton charges a similar amount, and many families buy an America the Beautiful annual pass if they plan more park trips that year. You fly into a gateway city such as Jackson, Bozeman, or Idaho Falls, pick up a rental car, and draw a simple circle. In Yellowstone, one day might revolve around the Old Faithful area and the boardwalks through the geysers. Another day might be built around the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone and its viewpoints, plus a slow drive through Hayden or Lamar Valley looking for wildlife. Then you drop south into Grand Teton, where the mountains stand in a clean row over the valley. You stay in or near the main valley and give one day to Jenny Lake, including the boat shuttle and shoreline paths, another to Oxbow Bend, Snake River overlooks, or Coulter Bay, and maybe a third to a float trip if that fits your budget. The big costs here are the car, the lodging, and a few key tickets. Once those are set, every overlook and pull-off is free. Number 8, Miami, the Everglades, and the Florida Keys in Florida for Art Deco lights, airboats, and highway over the sea. This route starts busy and ends slow. In Miami, you stay near the beach or the bay, so you can walk the boardwalks and watch the skyline without driving everywhere. One day is built around a simple beach morning on South Beach or a quieter stretch nearby. Then an afternoon boat tour on Biscayne Bay, where many narrated cruises price adult seats around $30 with lower rates for children. Another day could be the Frost Museum of Science or a short food walk in Little Havana, where the main costs are metro fares and what you eat. From there, you point the car toward the Everglades. Instead of trying to cover the whole map, you pick one visitor area or one airboat operator near the park edge. Typical airboat tours in this region often quote adult seats around $40 and child seats lower than that. And many runs include a mix of fast sections and slow glides, where you look for alligators and birds. Boardwalk trails and small visitor centers fill the rest of the day without more ticket scans. After the Everglades, you keep driving south on the Overseas Highway into the Keys. You can base in Key Largo, Islamorada, Marathon, or go all the way to Key West if you are ready for extra hours in the car. A reef snorkel trip from one of the middle keys often lands somewhere in the $60 to $80 range per adult, with cheaper child spots, and gives you a half day in clear water over coral. Bahia Honda and other state park beaches charge modest per vehicle fees, usually well under what you would pay for a theme park lot. And then the week settles into a rhythm of short drives, piers at sunset, and quiet mornings by the water. Number 9, Moab with arches and canyonlands in Utah for one desert base and 3 kinds of view. Moab gives you that "are we still on Earth" feeling without forcing you to camp. The trick here is to stay in town and let the parks rotate around you. Arches National Park has moved to a timed entry system in busy months, so you pay the standard private vehicle fee, usually around $30 to $35 for a week, plus a small online reservation fee to lock in your arrival window. You aim for early slots and plan 2 or 3 mornings in Arches, one in the windows area and double arch, one around Sand Dune Arch and nearby features, and one that includes a delicate arch viewpoint if the full hike is too much. On other days, you drive to the island in the Sky District of Canyonlands or to Dead Horse Point State Park, where a separate state park fee buys you huge canyon views from short rim paths. Back in town, a paved path along the Colorado River, playgrounds, and ice cream shops make it easy to fill evenings without more driving. Most of your budget goes to the car, the passes, and a bed with air conditioning. The light show on the cliffs at sunset is free every single night. For families who like the idea of desert Mars with a hotel pool, this one hits hard. Number 10, Seattle and the Olympic Peninsula in Washington for markets, ferries, and rainforest air. In 1 week, you move from markets and ferries to moss and mountain lakes. You begin in Seattle within walking distance of the waterfront and Pike Place Market. One day is built around the market stalls, the fish toss, the Seattle Aquarium, and watching ferries come and go. If you want one big city ticket, the Space Needle and the nearby Glass Art Museum often bundle adult admissions around the $70 to $80 mark with cheaper child tickets. You decide if that is worth it based on how much you care about the view. Then you swap skyscrapers for ferries. On some major routes, a Washington State Ferries car and driver fare is around $20 each way, with walk-on passenger tickets well under that. You roll aboard, watch the skyline slide behind you, and drive off in Port Angeles or another base town on the peninsula. An Olympic National Park vehicle pass is usually around $30 for 7 days, and that one payment covers Hurricane Ridge, Lake Crescent, and Valley trails in places like the Hoh Rainforest. The rest is gas, simple food, and the reality that you can spend a whole day walking under moss and along lakes without paying another entry fee. Number 11. Kauai and Hawaii for calm bays, canyon colors, and one long exhale. Kauai is the slow trip on this list. It is also one of the most expensive, so it helps to know where the money goes. Visitor data for Hawaii shows average daily spending per person now often lands around the mid-200s in dollars statewide, and Kauai tends to sit on the higher side of that range because of lodging and tours. You keep that from running away by sharing a rental with a kitchen and being selective with paid activities. On the North Shore, many days are just Hanalei Bay or Anini Beach, where parking is usually free or low cost, and the main spends are groceries, snorkel sets, and shave ice. A stop at Kilauea Point National Wildlife Refuge adds a small ticket for lighthouse views and seabirds. On the South Shore, Poipu Beach becomes your default plan. You watch turtles in the shallows, walk the coastal path, and time at least one evening for sunset. Your big paid daytime outing is often a drive to Waimea Canyon State Park and Koki State Park, where parking and entry fees are modest compared to helicopter flights or long boat rides. You can add one big tour if it fits your budget, but the everyday structure is beach, simple food, early night, which is what most people actually need. Number 12. Boston and Cape Cod in Massachusetts for brick paths, touch tanks, and bike path beaches. Boston and Cape Cod play like two chapters in the same book, brick and harbor first, then bikes and dunes. In Boston, you stay near the historic center and follow the Freedom Trail on your own. The line itself is free, and many churches and halls along the way run on suggested donations instead of fixed admission. You decide which major indoor attraction to pay for ahead of time. The New England Aquarium and the Museum of Science both usually price adult tickets around the $40 mark, with lower child rates. You pick one, spend most of a day there, and let the rest of your time be harbor walks, playgrounds, and coffee stops instead of collecting ticket stubs. After a few days, you pick up a rental car and head on to Cape Cod. The Cape Cod National Seashore does not charge a separate entrance fee, but town parking near popular beaches can reach $20 to $30 per day in peak season. You base in towns like Falmouth, Hyannis, Eastham, or along the Outer Cape, rent bikes, and use paths like the Shining Sea Bikeway or the Cape Cod Rail Trail to connect beaches and small villages. Most mornings are simple. You ride a bit, swim a bit, eat something good, and repeat. Afternoons move into clam shacks, ice cream, and slow harbor walks. Your main fixed costs are the car, the parking, and one or two activity tickets. Everything else is time on paths and sand. For families who like the idea of history you can walk through, then beach towns you can pedal between, this is a very easy sell. As you think about your own vacation, notice which place you keep picturing even after the video ends. That is usually your answer. Take that spot, match the rough numbers here to your own budget, save this guide so you can replay the relevant section when you book, and give yourself a family trip that feels planned on purpose instead of thrown together at the last minute.